Hi to everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about another rule for rules of inference. In the last video, we have discussed about the two rules of inferences, namely rule P and T. Rule P is a premise may be introduced at any point in the derivation, and rule T is a formula S may be introduced in a derivation if S is tautologically implied by any one or more of the preceding formulas in the derivations, right? And next one thing is another one rule is the rule CP. It can be otherwise called as a deduction theorem. And what about this rule CP is, if we can derive S from R and a set of premises, then we can derive if or then yes from the set of premises alone. So this is the rule CP. So this rule is just follows from the equivalence E19. What is the equivalence E19? E19 is P and R. That means if P and R, then S, which is equivalent to if P, then if or then yes. So this is the equivalence E19. So it just similar to the this rule CP is just similar to the equivalence E19. So we can say, let P denote the conjunction of the set of premises and let R be any formula. This equivalence, that means this equivalence states that if R is included as an additional premise and S is derived from P and R, then if R, then S can be derived from the premises P alone. It means we can include R as an additional premise in our derivations, and S is derived from P and R, then R conditional S can be derived from the premises P alone. Can you understand it? Once again I am saying we are going to include R as an additional premise and S is derived from P and R, then R conditional S can be derived from the premises P alone. So this is the equivalence E19. So based on this only we are going to solve our problem. So this is the rule CP. Based on this one we are going to solve the problem. Let's see an example for this one. Show that if R then S can be derived from the premises P conditional, we can consider this as a whole term. So if Q then S and then negate R, P and Q. So from these premises we are going to derive this one. So as usual I am just going to tabulate it. So step, formula, rule and justifications I have written it here. And in the step 1 I have taken the premises which is related to the R, because I have to prove R conditional S, right? So that's why at first I have taken this one. It's not mandatory to choose this premises. Even we can take this as a first formula here also. Okay, so at first I have introduced this premises here based on the rule P, because rule P is the in rule P we can introduce the premises at any point of the derivations, right? So based on that rule I have introduced this one. And for the rule P, there is no necessity to mention the justifications. That's why I haven't mentioned here. And next one, in the step 2, I'm just going to introduce one premises as R based on the rule P. Actually, R is not a specific premises in this problem, but I'm just going to introduce it by means of the assumed premises. Right? That's why I have introduced here. Next, what I am going to do it here is I am just going to take the step 1 formula and the step 2 formula based on the I10. The rule of inference 10 is negate P or Q, which is then we are getting Q. That means negate P or Q is tautologically implies Q, right? So what I am going to do it here is I am just going to take this R and negate R and P, negate R P. So here by means of the equivalence E1, I am going to rewrite this R as negate R, and I can write this as a negate R RP. So it gives me, it is a tautologically implied to P based on the inference 10. So the thing I have written here, so I can substitute this P here. That's why here I am writing here as P. How I have derived this P based on the step 1 and 2. That's why I have cured 1 and 2, and based on the inference I10. That's why I have written it in the justification. Next, I am going to introduce another one premise here. So I am introducing this premise here based on the rule P. Next, what I am just going to do it here is I am just going to derive it based on the step 3 and 4 and by using the inference 11. Here P and then P implies Q, P conditional Q conditional S. So I can write it here as I11 is P comma, that means P and if P then Q, which is a tautologically implied Q, right? So that's why based on these things I am just going to consider this whole term as Q, right? So you just consider here, you can consider this as a P, if P then Q, and you can consider this one as a Q. So what's based on the I10, we will get the premise Q. I will just write it here, P comma P conditional Q, right? So I will write it here. So this is a thing, no? Here I can write it here as P implies P. Yes. So I can write like this one. So which will, I will get it here as Q, no? So that's why Q means, here I am getting Q means here the Q is Q conditional S. That's why I am going to write it here as Q conditional S. Next, what I am doing here is in the next step, based on the step 5 and 6 and based on the I11, I am just deriving the premise S. So P comma P conditional Q, which is a tautologically implying Q, right? So here I have taken Q comma Q conditional S, so which will be tautologically implied as S. So I am writing S here. Next, what I am going to do it here, if I am able to derive S from the premise R means, then I can conclude if R then S as per the rule CP. So based on the rule CP, since I have derived S from the premise R, I can conclude here as A for that S. So, just look into this step 8. What we have to prove? We have to prove A for then yes. Hence, we have achieved. Hence, proved. So, that's all. I hope you might have been understand this concept clearly. In case if you are having any doubt, kindly post your queries. Thank you.